All right, we're back for a milestone episode 25 of Shoot the J. We want to thank everybody for paying attention and listening to us every week. This week, we're going to raise our glasses. As we always say, what are you drinking? Tyrone, you're the first one to log in. We'll start you off. What are you drinking?
Well, I got the trifecta first. I'm killing the water bottle.
Okay.
Got a little lemonade. Because it was a hard day at work today, I got this whiskey right here, the Spitfire whiskey. Which I will partake of right now. Oh, yes. Kills all the corona germs right there.
That's your second vaccination right there.
You got a lot going on down there.
There's a lot.
I simply have a little orange juice, splash of grapefruit juice, and a little Bacardi Silver.
Well, that's interesting. All right.
Little mixologist right there.
Very tangy. Pay for that later on the acid scale.
You're gonna be up with that Pepsi AC tonight with that acid reflux.
Ooh, I felt like it burnt some corona germs going down.
That's it. Chalky.
Generic form.
I have a shot of vodka here. What is this?
That looks like a double shot there, Red.
It might be.
Oh, man.
I got the Kirkland signature from Costco. When it's alcohol, I got to buy in bulk.
But you're the only one drinking.
I got to buy in bulk. Got big bulk problems, bro.
You got Costco problems, huh?
That's right. Costco size.
I think it starts off with that 36-foot bus in the backyard.
Yes, y'all are welcome to help me anytime y'all want to. Also on the bus, also.
Man, I would love to, man.
Flavor Flav got problems of his own.
Wow.
I would love to help you, bro.
Wow.
I would too.
Can't resist, huh?
Can't resist. That's a good story for another day, right there.
Well, guys, let's
the turmoil he has out there. That Ty just had to turn back around.
I think he's doing a good job by himself.
I turned around. I gave him some advice, but then I turned right back around.
Oh, really?
By the time I'm done with it, it's gonna be good for carrying me straight to the grave, bro. This stuff is killing me. Load me up right in the back.
What you got on the dock there, Red Dog?
Last night, or night before last, rather, Saturday night, Los Angeles Lakers blew out Brooklyn Nets. No LeBron James, no Anthony Davis. They had Andre Drummond and a bunch of backups. In the course of that game, where Kevin Durant played and Kyrie Irving played, no James Harden, Kyrie Irving and Schroeder both got ejected from the game. And what Kyrie said started the whole problem is that Schroeder called him the N-word and he took offense at it. And they were going back and forth and they got ejected. What are y'all thoughts on the use of that word in sports, particularly in a realm where it's majority African American athletes? Is that something that someone should take offense to, particularly if they've used the word themselves before? Is that like something that they should, take in arms? Or what are your experiences with that in sports as well?
Well, I'll start that off if you don't mind. Every ethnic group has a word for each other that somebody else can't say.
Okay.
Even gay people have words that they call each other that we can't call. Okay. And neither do I want to call them that. Okay. That's the problem. If I'm going to respect, if they say this is a word, I remember one time I was at a place and I didn't even think about this phrase, but somebody says, man, you're trying to Jew him down. And my boss at the time was Jewish. And I just didn't think about that phrase, and the guy just got so angry. And I'm like, oh, snap, that's what it means. I didn't think of Jew as J-E-W.
Mm-hmm.
But then I've heard a guy say something to another Jewish guy. It's none of my business.
Right.
I don't have to do it. Now, at the same time, if the guy says, hey, man, I don't like that word to be used, whatever. Well, it's all over the place. You hear it in music. You hear, like, I even hear female rappers saying it now more than ever. It's very, very weird to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
It creates an environment that if you tell this person, Dennis Schroeder, not to use it,
Okay.
then you know people are going to start using it on the basketball court just to turn the screw on.
Right.
So I think that was something that was in house that he should have dealt with and not brought it to the forefront until they had some type of consensus. Maybe they should have had an NBA players meeting and say, let's get rid of this derogatory word and why. But to throw Schroeder on the bus when you know so many of those guys are calling each other the N-word and stuff like that. So, that's my take on it.
All right, Don?
I think, the politically correct way of saying is when you know better, you do better, right? So when you know better that something is derogatory, you don't use that term. But to say it's not being used in the Black community, like Tyrone alluded to, is to kind of look and say and try to kind of deny what's been going on for our entire life. I mean, at one point that word was used in our community so much, it was on sitcoms.
Mm-hmm.
Sanford and Son, All in the
Sanford
Family.
and Son, All in the Family with Archie Bunker and
Right.
Good Times. And so now it has turned to become a word now that's polarized again. And we know it's racist background, but we also know how we've used it in the Black community. So I do kind of agree with Tyrone in the fact that when Kyrie Irving brought that up, was he just trying to throw Schroeder out there in a bad light? Because when you do that, you're not really looking at all of the athletes and what their trends are and what they've been doing all of this time. They haven't really decided whether or not that is something that should have been said. And have you polarized just this one person by throwing him under the bus?
Mm-hmm.
When we know, growing up as young Black men, how the word has been used in our community. So, and among athletes, so, and in the rap game. So, you talk about acculturation, you talk about political correctness, and you talk about, why use that as your term or your way to try to polarize this particular athlete, when I think he probably was playing pretty decent defense on Kyrie Irving and got under his skin, which Schroeder has been known to get under the star's skin on other teams in many occasions. So why would you use this as your, sticking point to get angry or to find yourself getting to a level of becoming ejected from the game? So that's my question. Why use that as your sticking point in this argument, as opposed to, he just got the better of me on the defensive end this night and I got angry?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Don on that. I think sports is a microcosm of real life. And if you go out to any court in America, particularly when there are Black players out, that word is going to be thrown around. And not just that, or family gatherings, parties, or what have you, okay? And so it's just that this is the demographic that's on the court, and that word is going to be thrown around, as we may or may not refer to ourselves that way. If Kyrie is going to do that at Rucker Park and say the same thing, okay, that's what you believe. I mean, I had an opportunity to, with Zulu Mandela, Big Frida showed up one night. And, Big Frida wants to be referred to with the pronoun she and her. Hey, this is what you want. If you want to change your name or change your pronoun or what have you, I will honor that. That's fine with me, because everybody wants. There's a time when Muhammad Ali didn't want to be referred to as Cassius Clay. You can see his picture in the back, okay? And if you say that's not the way you want to be referred to, that's fine. But I'm with Don. Don't come in and try to big boy him, okay, and say it like you want to fight all of a sudden. Because Kyrie, I'm pretty sure this ain't the first guy in the NBA that's called you this, okay, or said that word in your presence. It's just a coincidence that Schroeder was giving you that work, gave you 19 points in the first half. Okay, they're beating the brakes off you, and now you want to pick on Schroeder and say Schroeder said this word, and that's why you got ejected and you fought. I bet Montrezl Harrell said you didn't tell him anything. You know, I bet if Drummond would have said it, you wouldn't have told him anything. I think he wanted to be ejected from the game because he wasn't having a great night. Schroeder wasn't allowing him to do all this.
I disagree with that. He had 18 points. He had 18 points in the first half as well.
Okay, 18 points, but guess what?
Schroeder had 19.
But guess what? It wasn't affecting the outcome of the game. See, when you got
I don't think he even thinks like. I don't even think he thinks like that.
He may or may not, but I can say this from absolute experience. When you got your big brothers with you, you're a lot more mouthy than you normally are. Okay? See, when you got James Harden and Kevin Durant, nobody coming off injury and they're all fresh, okay, then you could talk trash with the best of them and you can get a lot more chesty when you're normal. He didn't have his full complement of his team. The Lakers, without LeBron and without Anthony Davis and without Marc Gasol and without Wesley Matthews, was giving them that work, okay? And Schroeder wasn't allowing them to do everything he wanted to do. He wasn't out. He was scoring, but he wasn't really affecting the outcome of the game. It wasn't causing a burst for Brooklyn at the time. And he wanted to get tossed. You know, they got footage of Kyrie saying the word himself multiple times up there. So now all of a sudden, Schroeder says the word, you mad, but you can say it in other circumstances. Okay, you got to be clear when you tweet out and say this is a word that refer to us as slaves, and let's get over this word, blah blah blah. Tweet out and say, I am also guilty of using this word in that. And I've had to change now, and I don't want to be referred to that way anymore. And I'm going to put the league on notice. If you say this word to me, it's a problem. Okay?
Did he forget to put his sage around the court like he was supposed to? Maybe he forgot that.
This guy got
Maybe he forgot that.
Prima donna behavior, bro. I mean, yes. You know, cats get this stardom, and then all of a sudden, you know, kind of like my little brother. When calls ain't going his way, then he gets a little more upset, you know, on the court than he normally does.
He try to big time, yeah, dog.
He want to try to big time people, you know. Sound like my little brother. You know,
got to Mug Bukri.
Then he stacks the deck the following week with all pro athletes on his squad, you know, and everybody else in the submission, and talking about, no, I'm just playing, just clowning. But I do think Kyrie suffers from this. It's my game, my ball kind of mentality. And if it's not going the way I want, I'm gonna take my ball and go home. I think he does suffer from that. And you could kind of see that over his career, the length of his career.
You can see it in his movie. You can see what's the movie there where he was like a grandpa? Uncle Drew. It's the same thing, bro. He wants everybody to come he's the loner, but all of a sudden he's getting the group together. That doesn't make any sense. You want Shaq to let things go and you didn't slept with Shaq's woman, however everything worked in the movie? Come on, bro. You don't know how to talk to the man. It's working. He's doing the same thing in his movies. He's writing the script.
Trying to pull up the plot.
It's the same thing, bro. He calling other people the N-word, but he wants to apologize.
Godzilla next.
Right. Hey, he don't believe in dinosaurs, so that might not even be in there either. So
right here.
The flat earther? The flat
earth. There ain't no core on the flat earth.
No hollow earth theory for him, huh?
Right.
I just wanted to put on some
here we go.
And go onto the NASA site out how round the earth is. These are real-time photos, gentlemen.
My question as a scientist, how do you have seasons if the earth is flat? How do you have 24 hours in a day? If it's circular, then that's when you get that kind of stuff. But a flat one is you're gonna be melted like ants on the magnifying glass, bro. Come on, man.
I tell you, more and more we're finding out that some of the accepted and proved truths that we've known in education are being questioned. So that really puzzles me now, gentlemen, about the type of education our young people are getting nowadays, because when you go back and start challenging some things that have been proved in the 1600s, you know, we got a problem, gentlemen, on our educational front. And that's just speaking from what I know about education and that piece.
Well, guys,
Don, when you have to cite sources, Don, it has to be peer reviewed, right?
Oh, yes.
They don't have to do that. They go www.this, Google search that. That's what they do. I deal with it all the time. It's like, that's not a reputable source.
Not a reputable source. And you don't have another source, like you said, peer review. You don't have another corroborating source that's coming up with information that corresponds to what you found. So you're treating a tertiary source as if it's a primary source. Not a good idea.
That's a big word.
Big word of the day. Check. Tertiary.
Yeah, Tyrannosaurus Rex to you too.
Glad I could oblige y'all, gentlemen.
No, but look, I'm in a media business, and what we found out is with the advent of the internet, everybody was excited because it got everyone reading again. This was before, video was prominent on the internet. We got excited because it started literacy again. But what we found out is that when there's more information, there's also more misinformation. Okay. And the same thing that can be used for a good thing can be used for bad. I learned this in Dr. Chasson's History of Mass Communications class. Shout out to Dr. Lloyd Chasson. Also, that television, originally the concept for television was that it was supposed to be the tool to educate the world. That we could put educational programs, and people who lived in the Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri, could get the same education as somebody at Harvard, because you could put educational programs on. But it morphed and turned into an entertainment tool. We could have educated the whole world with television, but we turned it into an entertainment device, into sell products. Like they say, the soap operas, they would sell detergent and cleaning products. We turned it into a capitalistic tool, but it originally could have been something to educate the entire world. And the same thing with the internet. As much as we can use this tool to do good, bad can come of it too, where misinformation can be spread about politics, about science, about vaccines, which we're currently dealing with right now. So Kyrie has shown a history to being, and I don't want to say this because I respect him as a player, as a victim of misinformation, particularly with this flat earth theory, and possibly, now that he's kind of gone head into, his Native American culture, which I admire too, and African culture. But if you want to pull out Schroeder, who's of German heritage, who's African and German, truth be told, Kyrie, you from Australia. Let's be real about it. You were born in Australia, dude. Okay? So when you talk about African Americans, it's not really you, dog, because you weren't born here, bro. Your dad is from Jersey, but you were born in Australia. So Schroeder has just as much right to that word as you do. You ain't exactly from this bad boy neither, So, if that's what you don't want to be referred to, I totally, understand that and embrace that. You can be referred to any way that you want to, but let's not act like this happened in a vacuum. Y'all was getting the brakes beat off y'all before you got ejected.
It's a perfect time to say, put another shrimp on the barbie, get another topic.
yeah, exactly.
Let's get another topic going. I'm tired of this little dude, Kyrie, bro. Go ahead.
Plus, we have probably like the biggest stretch in a season so far as boxing is concerned. There are so many marquee matchups that are going on. Let's discuss two things. We have New Orleans' own Regis Prograis is making his comeback on undercard, a second comeback really, on undercard of the Jake Paul Ben Askren fight, which is another Triller event, which is up here on the top of another Triller event. We also, again, have Jake Paul Ben Askren. We have, Tyrone just told me that Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. is supposed to be fighting.
Okay? And Junior on the same card.
And his son Junior is supposed to be fighting Anderson Silva on the same card. Mm-hmm. And De La Hoya is coming out of retirement. And Evander Holyfield is supposed to be fighting Kevin McBride, the last person who fought Mike Tyson outside of Roy Jones.
June 5th, he's fighting.
Yes.
58 years old, Evander Holyfield.
And
he might be trying to buy his mansion back from Rick Ross, but that's another story.
And we have Manny Pacquiao fighting Terrence Crawford. And we have
Devin Haney,
Joshua Tyson Fury.
And Devin Haney fighting Jorge Linares.
Yes. And who is Ryan Garcia supposed to be fighting as well? Garcia's signed up to fight somebody.
Oh yeah, I can't think of the cat's name.
So this time of boxing right now, 2021, is just unbelievable. Wilder's supposed to be they're supposed to be matching him up also with Dillian White as well. It looks like the Prince Charles Martin fight dropped. It looks like he's going to be fighting Dillian White in America, not in the UK, to build Dillian White's audience up as well. What are y'all thoughts on the matches that we want to see versus the sideshow matches? What are your thoughts on that? The Holyfields of the world fighting at 58 years old, fighting Kevin McBride, the has-beens that never were, Kevin McBride, Anderson Silva fighting
Julio Chavez Jr.
Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And the big card, the prize fight, is the Jake Paul fight, is headlining a real boxing fight. What are y'all thoughts on that?
I hate to say this because I'm sometimes entertained by these side bouts. It is making a mockery of the sure enough boxers who really designed their whole life around this craft. And, you kind of hate to see that happen because it's like, more and more people are getting joy out of the little Tinseltown matches, the little amateur bouts, than really seeing the real skill that comes from two men matching up with styles and their expertise and training and trying to figure each other out in the ring. And that's what boxing is. It's a sport where you have to match your strategy and your skill level versus the other opponent's strategy and skill level. And so when you had these one-offs like Jake Paul and all that, fighting against obscure names, and then boxers with less skill coming out of retirement, you hope Holyfield doesn't have a heart attack in there. I know I said it earlier, but I mean, you fighting somebody, both of them might have a stroke. I mean, come on, man. You're really taking your life in your hands. Other than what you're going to start hugging when you get tired of throwing punches, you're going to start hugging each other like Roy Jones did Mike Tyson, because Mike Tyson was getting to him with those licks. But it becomes like somebody said, two uncles fighting in the backyard barbecue. Entertaining at the barbecue. Are we paying big money to start seeing this now? I mean, come on, guys. Really? Even though there are certain celebrities I would like to see knocked out, but, come on. Really?
Who is it, D? Who you want to see knocked out?
Well, I'm still thinking on it. There's a couple of people out there. Go ahead.
Well, I agree with Don, but I want to put the blame where it needs to go. The blame is on the entity of boxing right now. And the problem with it is this. Back in the day, ABC Sports used to show all the fights. You see a fight every Sunday, right? You have Hearns and rest in peace Hagler fighting 2 or 3 times. Sugar Ray Leonard fighting 2 or 3 times. Gary Russell Jr. hasn't beat 4 coronavirus. And he's supposed to be fighting for the time. Lomachenko was a superstar. He only had 13 fights on his belt. How is that happening? And then you want to protect him from people. When Lopez beat him, he's gonna say, "Oh man, I got robbed." No, dude, we don't see you fight all the big time. You got all these belts and stuff. So they are not giving us the fights we want to see. Me and Dave was talking about this last time. Lennox Lewis didn't fight Tyson in his heyday. He fought him way after the fact. Riddick Bowe didn't fight Tyson. Riddick Bowe didn't fight Lennox Lewis. So you guys are killing it for boxing. So now it's time for the sideshow to kick in. Look, everything is reality TV now. We alluded to cable now and TV now, but put on a cooking channel. They actually don't show you how to cook on a cooking channel. It's more reality TV.
Right.
You got guys' grocery days, beat Bobby Flay, doing all this kind of stuff. Dude, I might want to learn how to get some technique in cooking, bro, but I can't find nothing. Well, y'all got America's Worst Cooks on there. Y'all telling me how not to cook.
The Great Bacon Challenge, right?
Right. You got Real Housewives of Atlanta ain't got no housewives to begin with.
Nobody's married.
Not a wife, nor a house. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, I'm going to go for the sideshow. I'll go for it, too. If somebody said they want to match up Kevin Hart versus what's the other comedian, a little short comedian, with the process. Huh?
Cat Williams.
Cat Williams. I'd pay for that. You know what I'm saying? I would pay for that before I would fight. Before I watch. Who's fighting? My boy from Cuba, who only lost 2 fights to the same person, Deontay Wilder. Ain't nobody fighting King Kong. Why that man can't get a fight?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, this new guy that just knocked somebody out that we saw on ESPN.
Gaba.
F.A. Ajaba.
Ajaba. Woo! He might get a fight against Ortiz.
You don't want that.
Yeah, he'd be eaten up though. He'd get eaten up.
You don't want that. But you know, it's a fine line between sports and entertainment, and it seems to me boxing is going into the full-on entertainment route. You know, when that Roy Jones Mike Tyson hit just as many pay-per-view buys as maybe like 3 fights in history other than Mayweather McGregor, Mayweather Pacquiao, but it was the 3rd biggest fight of all time. I mean, the marketplace is going to tell you what people want. And to guys like us who are purists, yeah, it's going to hurt us because we want to see those big fights, you know. But to the average American or average person around the world, they're not boxing purists. Just like we argue with people about basketball, who's a better player. A lot of people don't know the ins and outs of the game of basketball, and they just say, "Oh, I like Kevin Durant. Durant's the best." Okay, but a person with knowledge of the game would say, "I don't know if I agree with that," and give you the reason why. Most people know. It's to use the Kevin Hart reference. Most people don't know jack about boxing, is what he said in when he did that little skit with his boy the comedian, you know, and also with the Cat Williams Kevin Hart. I don't know if Cat Williams got a chance. That little 8th grader was dealing on Cat Williams out there in the projects when he was playing.
13-year-old put it on it.
And choked Cat Williams out. So I'm sure you don't want none of Kevin Hart, but I think it's a fine line between sports and entertainment where you don't let the entertainment overpower the actual sport. And I kind of see that's what's happening right now, that these sideshows are becoming the main attraction as opposed to the real skilled people. So I don't know if this is something that's going to run its course or not in boxing, or if it's going to flame out. I know Triller overbid $6 million for the Teofimo Lopez contract, but as we say in America, money talks and bull walks. So if they continue to make money, we got to continue to expect these type of matchups to continue. I don't think that Holyfield McBride is going to do anything because those are not big names. McBride, again, was a journeyman. Before he fought Mike Tyson, he wasn't a name. Whereas Mike Tyson and Roy Jones were 2 legit Hall of Famer legends that were fighting each other, you know. Chavez Sr. is a legend, but he's fighting Hector Camacho, who's
Macho
like,
Camacho.
Macho Camacho with the little get it girl curl in front. Would that be great?
That must be Junior, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Junior. That's Junior.
Yeah. A great curl in the front that's gonna be twisted in the front. Come on now. You know, he's a borderline Hall of Famer, but he's not like a legit Hall of Famer. And then Silva fighting Hector Camacho Jr. I mean, not Camacho.
No, Julio Cesar Chavez.
I'm mixing up the Latin name. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. fighting him. I actually kind of want to see that fight because Anderson Silva talked about his boxing skill and how he wanted to fight Roy Jones Jr. So I am kind of concerned to see how he would fight a B-level pro fighter in Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. So some of them I am kind of interested, and some of them I'm not. And it feels like to me that he's just throwing stuff against the wall and see what the audience wants, you know?
You missing another big fight, Dave, that we didn't mention. Was Billy Joe Saunders and Canelo Alvarez in May. That's a big fight as well.
That's a huge fight, and it's somebody that, in my opinion, that's more evenly matched with Canelo. Finally, instead of tomato cans or guys past their prime or guys that have been knocked out or guys under his weight class or guys over his weight class, that's a huge fight.
We talked about that a little bit in one of the shows before.
Right.
Yeah.
Or not. Let's move on, guys. Deshaun Watson. Tyrone shaking their head right now. Okay. Has been accused by 22 women of misconduct, all masseuses. Okay. Uh,
On the money train.
what's the take on this? What like is this all came out after he said he wanted to part from Houston Texans? Okay, as we've talked about with Ray Rice, as with Bounty Gate, as with Colin Kaepernick, the NFL has an army, a literal army of investigators outside of the CIA and the FBI and other law enforcement agencies. That the NFL has the biggest group of investigators outside of organized law enforcement. What do y'all think?
It's a lose-lose. It's a lose-lose situation to comment on this. Let me tell you why.
Okay, go ahead.
One victim is enough.
True.
One victim that has happened to is enough. And whatever reason they didn't come forward, I can't fault them on it because their lives would be destroyed.
Okay.
If one person comes along and it empowers the other women to come forward, I'm not going to say all of them are money hungry or whatever, because they could be true victims.
Right.
We know that these players are entitled to doing things. They get away with things all the time. And this whole thing is about power. So these women could feel not like they're not having any power in the matter, and they'll lose everything going against these guys who got millions of dollars, lawyers, people who are going to hush things, and they're going to be ostracized. So I could say that he could be squeaky clean, but he can't either. He can make one offense. He can have 20 offenses. It's a lose-lose situation. I hope that he gets prosecuted if he did do it. But on the flip side, I hope these women get prosecuted if he didn't do it. And kudos to him for not paying people off in order for them to see a day in court. But I just think that it's a horrible situation either way the cut goes. And it's terrible that it's so publicized that these people who are stand to lose everything, putting their name out there.
I would tie, it's a lose-lose. I don't want to misspeak on anybody's experience because like you said, Ty, if it happened to one, you know, it could have happened to all and vice versa. Also, we know that certain industries have ties to abuse and sex trafficking. And the massage business is one of those where they take and abuse and sex traffic their own people. So there's a lot of layers to this thing. I think it's, you know, just like with anything else that happens in our culture that becomes public, it's not just one issue. There are multiple issues at stake. And so we have to be careful how we judge in this issue. We've also seen a history of, you know, people with high profile names able to pay their way off a case that is
Antonio Brown,
Trump,
Ben Roethlisberger,
Robert Kraft,
Trump,
the owner of the Patriots. So, you know, will he be treated like his peers? That's what all the Black Americans are looking at. Will he be treated like his peers in that regard? Or will there be some underhanded justice that goes on? Or will there be some other accusations that come to the forefront? It's very complicated and very hard to judge because, you know, what is the normal way of getting a massage in these places? What is the expectation? You know,
the places or the places.
Right, you 24 hours, you open. I'm not justifying any type of illegal activity, but what is being sold at these places? You know, and what has been told to the city as you know, this is why we need a license to be open 24 hours, and these are the clientele we're serving, and this is what we're offering. So again, we know places in every city where, you know, there's like almost a legalized form of prostitution going on.
right?
You know, America wants to have this moral high ground, but only when it doesn't affect the almighty dollar. So I know people are going to be upset that I said that, but it's, I mean, it's real. When you touch big dollars, And all of a sudden, you know, there's going to be outcry in some type of form or fashion when it comes to business and making rules. So this is going to be something interesting to watch and how this is treated going forward.
Guys, I'm just going to write. You know, everybody was kind of delicate with the way he stated everything, and that's really good. I'm just going to go ahead and say I think the guy got a problem. Is what I really do. If this is a legit massage that you're coming through as an athlete, which athletes know, massage is key to being able to perform on back-to-back performances, right? To get a deep tissue massage, work out all those knots in your muscles so you can go from game to game, all right, or practice to practice. There's not an NFL, NBA team, MLB team, or soccer team that doesn't have a massage therapist on staff. We saw it in the NBA bubble where the guys would get work through practice and they would all have their schedule lined up. So massage is a key to recovery and ability to play, okay? I've seen it firsthand when I covered the Saints in the Saints locker room. I saw Don's tight end that he likes the most, Ernie Conwell, was in the ice tub. I know you don't like him. That's what I said. Was in an ice tub after getting bruised and battered. And he had 2 massage therapists working on him in an ice tub after a Saints game. This is a part of the game, okay? But when you have 22 women that you personally, Deshaun Watson, have hired as a massage therapist, that's a problem. This is a professional service that you get. So you should have 1 or 2 trainers. I mean, 1 or 2 people. What pro athlete do you know has 22 personal trainers to work with them? This is athletic service is what this is supposed to be. Who has 22 massage therapists on speed dial? And as much as people talk about Floyd Mayweather and the harem winning 30 women, he had 1 massage therapist on staff. He had the cryo person on staff to put him in the little freezing tank. Okay. I think there's no reason professionally for an athlete to have 22 massage therapists. Okay. Particularly if they're going to massage athletes. In the city of Houston, you have 20 who are capable of providing professional level deep tissue massage, and particularly in a sport that's on an off season. Okay. And that you play once a week. This is not something that you do every day back-to-backs like baseball and basketball. This is something you do, and as a quarterback, you wear a red jersey so you don't get hit in practice either. So this is not passing the sniff test to me with Deshaun Watson, with him having 22 massage therapists. Don, you have a great reputation in the city of New Orleans. Tyrone, you have a great reputation in the city of Atlanta and New Orleans. When can you get 22 people to all line up and say something bad against you? Can they find 22 people, Don, to say something?
You can find some musicians, but not no massage people. Find some musicians or something like that.
Wait, I don't want to speak to who could come out. As you know, when things, if a person is trying to ascend to another level, you don't know who will come out the woodworks on you, and it doesn't have to be true, as you can see. So I don't want to judge that. I don't want to speak any truth to that at all. So I don't want to talk about who could come out the woodworks on you, but I get your point about the 22 massage therapists. But I also get the point that, you know, you got a lot of people selling goods that they don't produce or can't produce, or services they can't produce or shouldn't even be producing. So
and they got bandwagoners too.
Yep.
You know, I do.
I say this case is more than meets the eye. There's a lot of
farmers. What I find odd though is the timing.
Let me see.
The NFL has an army of investigators. If this was going on, they know about it. Okay. And now the timing is funny that he wants to leave this team, is trying to force his way out of the team, and now allegations pop out that's been happening over 2 years. You can't tell me the Houston Texans and the NFL organization didn't know this was happening. They had one guy who went to NFL Combine test, and they ask you all types of questions. They take you on a personality test and IQ test and everything. And the investigators get you in a room, and they said, "When's the last time you seen your brother?" And the kid said, I'm an only child. What are you talking about? And he said, no, you have a brother out there. The NFL investigators knew he had a brother that he didn't even know that he had out there. Okay.
So, it's called a calculated risk, Dave.
Okay.
You calculate what would be the benefit or the non-benefit of having this situation. So you have a person who come in league and make you money. They sure let Antonio Brown come back and play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Right.
I didn't see where his case was resolved publicly, but he didn't come back to no little regular team to play. He came back with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and won a Super Bowl.
Good point.
So it's a calculated risk. If they knew about it, you're in marketing. You look at things all the time. If this comes out, we have deniability because we never said anything. So of course I'm not going to put it out there. If I can hold it in the safe for my own powerful means. I say you get out. Maybe it was the NFL that leaked. Talked to the people and said he's not going to play ball with us. We're going to leak the records. So it could have happened both ways. They could have been hushing it for the whole time. Then they said, okay, if you're not going to play ball, we're going to let these records come out.
Unlike today's point, it could have been the organization saying we're going to leak these records so he doesn't have marketability and go elsewhere. Mm-hmm. So you got a lot of ways you can spend this coin.
Those are real good points. The guys like the stars in the league, like Deshaun Watson, the Ben Roethlisbergers, the Michael Vicks, they will get second chances because the marketability, it says this guy's going to bring in more revenue than whatever the fallout is from the women's organizations or the animal rights organizations or what have you. So those guys, the Antonio Browns of the world, the stars are going to get that second chance. But the guys like Ray Rice, who are like middle rung, running backs, not premier marketable guys, they're going to be out of the league. I think Jamal, who's a running back from the Ravens, Jamal White, I think his name is. I can't remember his Jamal
Anderson.
Jamal Lewis or something like that. Is it Anderson, Tyrone? Who is it?
Now I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Those guys who get caught, they're not going to get a chance. So you're right. I do think it's all about marketability, whether this person's going to bring money to the league or not, which is truly the American way. It's like, we'll forgive these things if this guy's going to make us a profit, vis-a-vis Robert Kraft. I mean, think about what Donald Sterling got booed out of NBA for his words, for doing something that wasn't illegal, right? What he said is not illegal. It's just unconscionable and it's unacceptable, but it's not illegal. And look at Robert Kraft. And Robert Kraft didn't get booed out because his organization is the face of the league, the New England Patriots. They're the champions. So to Tyrone's point, if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. So I totally see your point on that.
Yeah.
Well, guys, before we begin, I want to comment on something Don said about, I'm getting chesty with the calls and the things don't go my way. I have to shout out Mark Buckley and Andrew Jackson because they were on my winning team. We won 9 games to nothing the last time we played. And then the time before that with Don's other squad, we beat them 7-2. Then the time before that, we beat them 7-2.
So why are you naming it Don's squad? Like this is something that he picked.
Right, I get picked on these teams just like everybody else, man. But it's okay. I'm let a little red dog have his day because one of these days is gonna be my time.
What you have there, Red? You got a shirt or something? What you gonna raise up?
Have a shirt, but we talk about working on the bus. I want to tell all the viewers out there, I have my shirt. Save the Falcor is a T-shirt that we have that we use in.
Is that a dove? Is that a dove on the center of the shirt?
No, bro, it's not a dove. That's a Falcor on it, bro.
Oh, okay.
That's an eye.
Yeah, that's him looking sideways.
Do you have a dual account because you said that you beat up on Don? Now you want to say save the Falcor. Can we donate to the Falcor and to Don's team at the same time?
Yeah. Don was like Jerry's kids. Don's group was like playing the special. The kids who have some little shortcomings. You know what I mean? So we got Don's kids. We can donate. I'll put it on the screen. We'll put Don's Cash App up. To get him a good little team. Don, tell everybody what your Cash App is over there. What is it?
I like a lot of that. I like what he's saying, and I'm going to have my players ready for this next Saturday. Just be ready, Red Dog. And I don't have no excuses either.
I've been ready for the last 3 weeks, bro. Y'all got to get ready for me.
Want him to come with that same energy, huh, Don?
Come with that same energy.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna put Don's cash app to
I'll see you on Saturday.
Are you sure you're able to say that?
You're lucky I can't see you on
That on the
Tuesday.
low.
You're lucky I can't see you tomorrow night.
Well, I don't know what you're telling your wife where you're going from Saturday. You know what I mean? You might want to tell her that you got Bible study on Saturday. You know what I mean? But don't say the actual name of the game. You know what I mean?
Don gonna walk out with his glasses on, Dave? That's what you said?
Yeah, with a suit and tie, looking like one of the Latter-day Saints that are on with a briefcase.
Don, when you come out the suit and tie, bro, I want you to open up your jersey like this, bro. Don, just open up your jersey like this, bro.
I'm gonna have that Superman jersey underneath because that's what with him. I'm gonna take these Clark Kent, I can't even say it. Kent glasses off, and you're gonna see Superman.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
But we put the kryptonite on him the last 3 weeks. It was Batman versus Superman on you.
We're gonna see.
Don said he coming back like Zack Snyder Superman, bro.
Well, you gonna be Zack
That's
Snyder.
when I'm coming back like.
That was a better movie, but it ain't gonna matter. You called me Steppenwolf.
Oh,
I'm about to burn that horn off him too.
We're gonna put the donation for Don's kids. You know,
Send it to the fifth dimension.
get him a new little team. You know, we're waiting for the day that Tyrone will come in town. Maybe he'll get a little help with the other sibling. You know what I mean?
I get my vaccine on Thursday, bro.
There you go.
Come on in, Ty. I could use you, brother.
Thank you, bro. I got you, bro.
Give me Ty and Ty, and we'll take care of business. I don't care who David have after that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Ty and Ty. And before Ty come in town, give me Ty and Rodney. It don't matter who you have.
Oh, wow. I like that too.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you hear it clear and it's on tape.
Don't tell him your team, Don. Don't tell him your team, bro.
It don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter, Ty. It don't matter. He's a world beater right now. Let him about a world engine.
Lighten them up like a light bright every week, D. Like a light bright.
You know you're stirring the pot right now, right?
Bruh.
You know your brother gonna be in the gym every day now.
I don't need nothing, bro. Every day he spent at the gym, he spent a day at Chinese kitchen.
Taking all these jokes. A lot of jokes. We're gonna see exactly how that turns out for you, Red Dog. Let me see what Saturday is. Let me see the date on this.
It's the 17th, bro.
It surely is.
That's one of your numbers in it.
It's a couple days after tax day. Taxes are due for you, brother.
No, the tax.
They got extended, bro.
They got extension. You ain't been paying.
You got extension, bro.
Federal laws, brother. Federal government gonna come get you.
Ooh, I don't need that. Confiscate my bus.
I'll see you on the 17th there, Red.
Very good. Well, gentlemen, it's good to be back on the show. Everybody go out and get vaccinated. We want to put that message as well. Don't hesitate, because the more we all get vaccinated, the more we can get back to normal life. Shout out to everybody, our team that we normally play with on Saturday. Shout out to Tyrone. Great gig. We heard you had a great gig out in Atlanta this week.
Awesome.
And happy for you to be able to get out and play in front of a crowd again, which has got to be killing musicians to be at home and do everything, via Zoom and via web. So, happy that things are getting back to normal. And we'll catch y'all next week. Don't forget, shoot the J, gentlemen.